Hey guys, I'm back for a review here. Each year, right after New Year's in New Orleans, people start gearing up for Mardi Gras, and for like the month of February, typically, uh, every week throughout the area, there's parades, these street parades, predominantly in New Orleans metro area, but it's also through all the surrounding. They call them parishes here, counties or parishes. So I thought I would do a review of a film that took a look at the Mardi Gras uh, parades and things like that in the 70s, actually 1978. It's a slasher film. It's really a gore film, the Mardi Gras Massacre. Now, this was a film that was produced by a guy named Jack Weiss, who I guess he was a low-budget independent filmmaker that kind of strung his own money together and some other people's money to make a film. He didn't do much, but maybe he was more in distribution than anything else. But he did produce this film, and I guess the best describe it as a gore film along the lines of Blood Feast. You've got a middle-aged businessman who is killing off prostitutes and sacrificing them to an Aztec goddess. And it really does play just like Blood Feast with Herschel Gordon Lewis. The film has a couple of cops that are kind of trying to figure out what's going on and following. They're always 3 or 4 steps behind the killer, obviously. The film takes place in the French Quarter, so you get to see a lot of what the French Quarter looked like in the late 70s. And a lot of for me, it's kind of interesting because I live pretty close to the French Quarter, and I'm intrigued and interested in seeing what looks the same. And there's a number of places in the film that are almost the same. Particularly some of the strip joints and things like Big Daddy's with there's a scene with Big Daddy's strip joint where they've got these fake legs that come out this window like this. That's still there. Probably under different ownership, but it's still there. The film is not good. It's a 90-minute film and it drags quite a bit. There's a lot of what I call filler that would only be of interest to people that have an interest in the French Quarter or have lived here around here and want to reminisce to me about what the French Quarter was 40 years ago. That's probably the only thing that kept me actively watching the film. You've got 3 kill scenes where the guy sacrifices a girl on the altar, and what he does is that acting is terrible and the special effects are amateurish, but what he does is he ties them down and he stabs their right hand, then he cuts the bottom of their left foot, which I don't know why that bothered me, but it really did, and then he kind of disembowels them and pulls out like a cow heart or a fake, it looks really fake, and it just that kills replicated 3 times exactly. The guy that played the killer in this is actually interviewed. This is a Code Red Blu-ray, and he's actually got a 12-minute interview in this Blu-ray that was probably one of the more interesting things about the movie. The movie, it's got all the trappings of Blood Feast without any of the black humor. It's the acting is really, really deadpan. I mean, some of the Herschel Gordon Lewis films, to me, the acting is really amateurish and deadpan, but it takes it to new levels in this film. And you have no humor to go with it. It's just monotone delivery. I mean, I'm trying to do it myself. I mean, if you talk and respond in a real monotone way, like this, very slowly, then you'll get the idea of how the actors are delivering their lines, like this. That's the whole movie. That's everybody in the film delivers their lines just like that in the most deadpan, monotone way possible. And it grates on you. I'm not kidding. There are some interesting scenes in this. You've got a lot of scenes of bars in New Orleans, strippers and things like that, stripping in really seedy kind of circumstances. It really gives you a feel for what the late 70s French Quarter, the seedier side of the French Quarter, was like at that time. But it's a very tough film to get through unless you just have a particular interest of what the French Quarter or New Orleans looks like in the 70s during Mardi Gras. You're gonna have a hard time getting through this, I think. The film ends with the killer going off, driving his car off the wharf down to the quarter into the Mississippi River, and they don't find the body. So I guess it set up a sequel that was never made. And probably good for all of us that it wasn't made, quite honestly. Code Red did a great job with this transfer. It looks fantastic. When you listen to Bill Mezzo, who played the killer in this, he talked about the fact that they constantly ran out of money, had to quit shooting, interrupted shooting quite a bit because they ran out of money for film. Constantly ran out of money for film. So the quality, I'm sure the negatives and things like that had to be rock bottom, but I think the transfer on this looks great. The skin tones and the people look fantastic. It's very, very easy on the eyes to watch, ironically enough. There's also like a 3-minute intro from a sexy brunette that kind of like Katarina's Theater. She kind of does kind of a play on Katarina's Theater or B-movie madness intro, and then you've got a trailer. I wish they'd have been able to find Jack Weiss and interview him, but unfortunately we're not able to do that. You got the Blu-ray, and that's pretty much it. Yes, I would recommend this only for hardcore gore fans or people with interest in the nostalgia of the New Orleans area or French Quarter during Mardi Gras. Other than that, I would give it a pass. Probably a 6 out of 10. Anyway, there's my Mardi Gras horror movie for you guys, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks.